The Galactic Council chamber was quiet, long. Curved seats made of glowing crystal stretched in a circle. The leaders of many alien species were present. Some had wings, some had shells, and some had no face at all. In the center, a tall alien with silver skin spoke. His name was Arcith, the representative of the Trolvax Empire. His voice was cold and sharp like metal. Earth has refused our terms again. Arcith said, "They are stubborn, primitive. They do not understand what it means to be ruled by the Council." A ripple of low growls and hisses spread through the chamber. The other members nodded or muttered in their own languages. Most of them agreed. Earth had been a problem for many cycles now. First, the humans refused trade agreements. Then, they built warships in secret. Now they ignored the Council completely. "They think they are special," said a creature with many eyes and thin arms. "Let them face punishment." Arcith lifted a small crystal sphere. Inside, a hologram showed the blue planet called Earth. "Let this world serve as a warning to others. We will attack, we will conquer, we will show the galaxy that no one can say no to the Council." The Council voted. Most said yes. A few said nothing. None dared to say no. The invasion of Earth was approved. The Trolvax fleet would lead the attack on the other side of the galaxy. Above the blue and white clouds of Earth, the warship Liberty. Dawn floated quietly. It was large, dark, and shaped like a spear. Commander Natalie Brooks stood on the bridge, looking at a strange message on the screen. She had short, dark hair and a sharp mind. She had fought in many battles before, but something about this message made her feel cold. "Encrypted signal from deep space," her officer said. "Unknown origin." We translated only one word, conquest. Natalie stared at the screen. She felt something heavy in her chest. She had read old reports. She knew the signs. This wasn't a message. It was a warning. "Alert all stations," she said. "Call Admiral Cole Hart. We're not waiting to be surprised." In a secure base under the Rocky Mountains, Admiral Cole Hart watched the transmission. He was older than most commanders, with a scar across his cheek and sharp eyes that had seen too much war. "They're coming," he said simply. "They think they can scare us. They think Earth is weak." He turned to his officers. "But they forgot one thing," he said. "Earth never surrenders, and humans never forget who tries to hurt us." In hidden shipyards across the solar system, Earth's secret fleets began to move. Ships like the Valiant Edge and Midnight Echo powered up. Engines hummed, cannons loaded. Satellites turned their eyes toward the stars. Unlike the Council, Earth didn't shout. Earth prepared in silence, back on the Liberty Dawn. Natalie watched the stars. She remembered her father's words before he died in a colony raid. "Don't wait for heroes to save the day," he had told her. "Be ready to fight when no one else will," she whispered to herself. "They're not ready for what's coming, and they'll never understand what Earth can do." At the edge of Council space, the Trolvax fleet gathered. Giant black ships shaped like knives and claws moved into formation. Soldiers marched into their bays, weapons charged. Their leader, General Kelver, stood on the command deck of the flagship, surrounded by cold blue lights. "Set course for the Sol system," he ordered. "Let us teach this Earth what happens when it says no to the stars." As the ships jumped through hyperspace, no one in the Council chamber expected resistance. No one believed Earth could survive, but a few, like Ambassador Lyral, were not so sure. She sat alone in her chamber, watching old Earth broadcasts, humans dancing, laughing, crying, building rockets and songs. "They're not like us," she whispered. "They fight harder when they are afraid, and they never forget." She turned off the screen and closed her eyes. This won't be easy, not for them. Not for us. Far away, on a small space station orbiting the moon, a group of young cadets trained in a gravity ring. Among them was a boy named Aiden and a girl named Clara. They were not soldiers yet, but they would be soon. They didn't know war was coming. They didn't know they would soon be called to fight, but they had been raised to believe in something powerful, that Earth was worth protecting. That no one takes what is ours without a fight. The silence before war had ended. The first steps had been taken. And Earth, though quiet, was ready. Earth's leaders gathered in secret. The news of the incoming fleet had not reached the public yet. They met inside an underground command center deep below Alaska. Cold walls, glowing screens, and quiet voices filled the room. No one smiled. Everyone knew what this meant. Admiral Cole Hart stood at the center of the table. His voice was strong and calm. "This isn't just a battle," he said. "This is a message. They're trying to scare us." President Lavra Benton nodded slowly. She was not a soldier, but she understood war. "Then we need to respond in a way that tells them Earth doesn't run." "We won't win with numbers," said General Marcus Green. "We don't have enough ships, not yet." "Then we win with something else," said Cole. "We win with planning, with timing, with the kind of fight they've never seen before." Across Earth's orbit, warships moved into secret positions. The Liberty Dawn, Valiant Edge, and Storm Titan led the preparations. Deep in the asteroid belt, engineers worked night and day to finish the new ship called Iron Soul. It wasn't the biggest ship, but it had weapons that no enemy had seen before. On the bridge of the Liberty Dawn, Commander Natalie Brooks received her new orders. She read the encrypted file twice, then looked out at the stars. "We're not just holding the line," she said quietly. "We're striking first." She met with her crew in the strategy room. Holograms showed the enemy's predicted path. The Trelvax would come through the Epsilon corridor, a narrow space lane with strong gravity currents. If they were hit there, they wouldn't be able to dodge easily. "We'll bait them," she explained. "We'll fake a retreat, and when they follow, we slam the gate shut." Her crew nodded. None of them asked if the plan would work. They trusted her. They had seen her survive hopeless fights before, far from Earth, in the cold void of deep space. The Trelvax fleet continued forward. General Calver sat in a dark chair surrounded by glowing symbols. He watched the stars pass by the windows of his command ship. "Bloodthorn. Still no resistance," his officer reported. "Human ships remain scattered. No clear defense line." "Exactly as expected," Calver said. "They are slow to react. Their fear shows." But they didn't know what Earth was really doing. Below Saturn's rings, a small stealth vessel released hundreds of sensor drones. These drones would send every enemy movement back to Earth in real time, in a hidden lab near the Pacific Ocean. Dr. Ellie Grant worked on a special project. She had designed a new kind of jammer, one that could confuse alien sensors without making a sound. Her team called it Ghostlight. "If it works," she told her assistant Ben, "their ships won't even see us coming. But if it fails?" Ben asked. Ellie smiled weakly. "Then we'll give them a nice light show before they blow us up." Meanwhile, in the skies over Mars, training drills were pushed to the limit. Young cadets like Aiden and Clara were now part of real missions. They delivered supplies, scouted asteroid paths, and tested small warships. "We're not kids anymore," Clara said as they suited up. "This is the real thing now." Aiden adjusted his helmet and replied, "Then let's make sure Earth gets more time." Inside the command center, Cole Hart received a final report from intelligence. "The Trelvax think we're hiding," the officer said. "They don't know we're waiting." Cole nodded. "Then let them walk into the fire." The operation was called Iron Wreath. The goal: hit the enemy in the corridor, trap them, and cut off their escape. The Valiant Edge would carry the ghost-like tech. The Liberty Dawn would act as the decoy. The Storm Titan would close the path with a new gravity weapon. Back on the Council's homeworld, Ambassador Lyral studied the human transmissions. She was the only one who doubted the invasion. "You don't fight humans with fear," she said. Aloud, "They're born in it. They grow from it." She sent one final message to the Council leaders. "Delay the invasion," she wrote. "You don't understand what you're walking into." But no one listened. The Council was proud, too proud to imagine defeat. As the last plans were made, Natalie stood alone in the observation deck. Stars stretched in every direction. She placed her hand on the glass. My father used to say, "Space is cold, but the heart of Earth is always warm," she whispered. "Let's show them that warmth can burn." And far in the distance, beyond the black clouds of Jupiter, the enemy fleet finally entered the corridor. Earth was waiting. The corridor near Jupiter was quiet. Stars blinked slowly in the distance. Gas clouds moved like waves. Nothing looked dangerous, but deep inside the silence, Earth had set a trap. The Liberty Dawn floated in space. Power off, weapons cold. It looked damaged. Some parts of the ship had been made to look broken on purpose. It was bait. Commander Natalie Brooks sat on the bridge in the dark. Her officers watched screens and listened to signals. No one spoke. Every second mattered. "We have enemy movement," said Ensign Laura. 12 ships entering the corridor. 6 at first, more behind. Natalie gave a small nod. "Hold position. Let them see us. On the other side, General." Kelver watched the human ship appear on his screen. "They're alone," he said. "They're trying to run. Send the hunters. Crush them." 12 ships shaped like spears moved forward. Their engines glowed red. They raced toward Liberty Dawn, ready to finish the weak prey. But Natalie wasn't running. She was waiting. At her signal, power returned to the Liberty Dawn. Weapons glowed blue. Hidden panels opened. The ship turned sharply. "Faster than expected. Target lead ships," she ordered. "And fire." The first shots hit hard. 2 12 ships exploded before they could react. The rest pulled back, confused. They had walked into the fire. From the shadows, the storm. Titan arrived. A giant warship with heavy armor and gravity cannons. It fired once. A wave of invisible force hit the enemy fleet, breaking their formation. Then came the valiant edge. Fast, sleek, and deadly, it flew through the chaos, dropping ghost-like pods. The enemy's sensors started to fail. Nothing looked real anymore. "Close the corridor," said Admiral Cole Hart from Earth Command. Now, a remote device hidden in an asteroid was activated. It sent out a wave of charged energy that made the gravity lane collapse. The Trovax fleet was trapped. No backup could come, no retreat. Inside the Bloodthorn, General Kelver stood in shock. "This isn't possible," he said. "How did they know our path?" "They were waiting," one officer replied. "This was never an accident. Earth's ships attacked from every angle. Drones swarmed like insects. Missiles exploded with silent flashes. 12 ships were falling one by one. In the middle of it, Natalie led the fight with calm focus. "Keep moving," she told her pilot. "Don't let them pin us down." Her voice never shook, even when part of the hull broke and smoke filled the back room. She stayed firm, in a control room under the Pacific. Dr. Ellie Grant watched the ghostlight data. "It's working," she said. "Their aim is getting worse. They're lost," then looked at the screen. "But it won't last forever," Ellie nodded. "Then let's finish this before it wears off." Meanwhile, in orbit above Mars, young cadets received a real mission. "Aiden, Clara," the commander said. "You'll lead the escort team. Supply drones need to reach Liberty Dawn. Think you're ready?" "Yes, sir," Aiden replied. They launched in fast interceptors. Light and fast, but with strong shields. As they flew past enemy fire, Clara kept her eyes sharp. "I see them," she said. 2 enemy scouts heading for the drones. "Let's dance," said Aiden. They fired at full speed, dodging plasma bolts and weaving through wreckage. One scout ship broke apart. The other tried to run, but was caught in a gravity trap laid by Earth's ships. The drones made it to Liberty Dawn. Supplies were delivered. Repairs began even during the fight on the Bloodthorn. Kelver growled. His ship had taken damage. Fires burned along the side. "Retreat!" He shouted. "Break through, we can't stay here." But the corridor was gone. There was nowhere to run on Earth. President Lavra Benton listened to the battle reports. "We're winning," said General Green. "For now," she replied. "Make sure we stay ready. This is just the beginning." Back in space, Natalie gave one final command. "All ships, push forward. Break them now." The Storm Titan launched its final attack. A heavy plasma strike hit the enemy flagship, the Bloodthorn. Shuttered, systems failed, the command deck exploded in fire. General Kelver fell to his knees. He had never lost before. Now he watched as his fleet died in silence. And Earth stood strong. The battle was over. But the message had just begun. The battle near Jupiter was over. But the war was not. Earth had won the first fight, but everyone knew more enemies would come. Now the question was, what would the Council do next? Far away on the Council homeworld, the Chamber of Leaders was in chaos. The Trelvax representative was gone. His seat stood empty, burned by the shame of failure. Other members of the Council shouted and argued. Some demanded more force, others wanted to stop and rethink. They are just humans, one said. But they destroyed a full battle fleet. They used traps, another replied. They are not stronger than us, just more dangerous. Only one voice stayed calm. It was Ambassador Lyral. She stood up slowly and looked around. You all talk as if this was luck, she said. But it was not. It was a warning. Earth did not just fight back. They planned it. They studied us. They knew what we would do. Many ignored her, some laughed, but one or two began to listen. They were ready for us, Lyral continued. And if we send another fleet, they will be even more ready. Back on Earth, inside the mountain base, Admiral Cole Hart met with President Benton. The war room was quiet, filled with maps and blinking lights. They won't stop, Cole said. Not after this defeat. They'll send more ships, bigger ones. Then we need more than defense, Benton replied. We need to show the galaxy that Earth is not alone. Plans began to form. New ships were ordered. Old alliances were remembered. Earth sent secret messages to other planets that had once suffered under the Council. Some replied with silence, but others responded with hope. We remember your strength, said one message from a small desert world. Maybe it's time to rise. Meanwhile, in orbit above Earth, work began on a new flagship. It was called the Solar Vow, larger than any human ship before. It would carry the latest tech ghostlight shields, fusion cannons, and a new AI system called Orion. On the construction site, Aiden and Clara helped with supply runs. They had earned respect from the last battle. Now they were training for real command missions. The ship, Clara said while watching the giant hull. It looks like something from dreams. It's going to be real soon, Aiden replied. And when it flies, we'll be ready, in a quiet lab. Dr. Ellie Grant tested the next version of the jammer. Ghostlight 20 was faster, smarter, and smaller. It could fit inside drones or be placed on satellites. The enemy wouldn't even know they were being fooled. Ellie looked at a picture of her family. I do this so they don't have to run, she said, so they can live without fear. On the Council world, a new plan was being made. A group of leaders met in secret. Away from the main chamber. We can't lose face, one said. If Earth spreads this victory, more planets will resist. Then we strike not just Earth. Another replied, we destroy their message. We break their spirit. They planned an attack not on Earth's ships, but on its heart. A mission to destroy Earth's main communication hub on the moon. If they could silence Earth, maybe the galaxy wouldn't hear their voice. They called the mission Night Silence Back. On Earth, Natalie stood on the Liberty Dawn, now repaired and stronger. She was not resting. She was preparing for the next wave. She met with Cole on a secure line. I know their pride, she said. They'll want to hurt us where it matters most. Then we move fast, Cole said. Before they do, Natalie and her team were sent to the moon base to check defenses. The base was quiet, with only a small crew. She walked the halls, remembering past training here. I was a cadet when I came here first, she said to Laura. Never thought I'd return like this. That night, Earth detected strange signals. Near the moon's orbit, unmarked ships, no ID codes. Moving too slow to be normal traffic. They're trying to sneak in, Natalie said. Get ready. She sent a full alert to the base. Drones launched. Satellite weapons turned toward the dark side of the moon. Troops armed and waited. The enemy ships tried to hide in shadows, but Earth's eyes had improved. One by one, they were found. Take the lead, Natalie told Clara and Aiden, who had just arrived with the patrol team. This is your fight too. Yes. Ma'am, Aiden replied. We won't let them touch this place. The first shots of the second battle were fired in silence. Lasers cut through the black sky. Explosions lit the craters of the moon. Earth had seen the trick coming, and Earth had answered. The moon base was safe, but the danger had grown. Earth had stopped another secret attack. The Council now knew that silence would not stop the humans. Earth was loud, proud, and growing stronger with each fight. In the quiet halls of the Council, leaders gathered again. Their faces were tight with anger. The failed night silence mission had cost them ships, money, and respect. This is not just war, said one leader. This is embarrassment. We must strike harder, said another. Not just with weapons, but with fear, make Earth afraid to rise. But once again, Ambassador Lyral stood and spoke calmly. You still don't understand, she said. Every time you strike, they become more united. You hit their moon. And now even more of their people volunteer to fight. You try to scare them, but fear makes them stronger. This time, more members listened. Not all, but some back on Earth. The solar vow was ready. The giant ship floated above the atmosphere, shining like a moving star inside. Engineers finished the last checks. Weapon systems were green, shields were stable. The AI Orion ran tests every second. Admiral Cole Hart visited the ship. He walked its long halls, met the new crew, and looked out over Earth through the observation glass. This is more than a ship, he said. This is a message, Natalie joined him on. The bridge, when does it launch? She asked. Tonight, Cole said. You'll be commanding it. Natalie paused. She looked around at the lights, the screens, the strong metal walls. It felt right. I'll make sure it speaks loud and clear, she said. Elsewhere in space, the Council prepared a final move. A super destroyer called the Black Tempest was being armed. It was large, with a sharp, jagged shape. It had been built to end rebellions. No world had stood against it and lived. General Kelver's replacement, Commander Vrex, was crueler and colder. He was chosen not for skill, but for his hate of humans. He looked at the plans for Earth with a wicked smile. We hit their orbit, he told his crew. We don't land. We don't ask, we erase. The Black Tempest began its journey. Its engines tore through space. Behind it followed a fleet of warships, smaller but still deadly. They planned to strike Earth in one single, burning attack. But Earth's sensors caught the movement early, Doctor. Ellie Grant's new Ghostlight satellites saw the heat before the ships even left their space. They're coming again, she told Cole. And this time, they're not hiding, Cole called Natalie. Take the solar vow, cut them off before they reach our skies. Yes, sir, she replied. Aiden and Clara were also on the solar vow now. They had finished their training early after the moon battle. They worked under Natalie's command and stood proud in their uniforms. Think we're ready? Aiden asked. We better be, Clara said. This is the real thing. The solar vow jumped through a new wormhole gate. Built just days before, it arrived near Saturn, between rings of ice and stone. There, the Black Tempest appeared. Natalie stood straight on the bridge. Orion, bring up enemy data, she said. The IS voice was calm and smooth. Enemy ships, 32, main target, Black Tempest. Power, extreme, weak points. Unknown, threat level, maximum. Then we'll give them something new to fear, Natalie said. The battle began with a flash. Earth's ships attacked first. The solar vow fired a beam that melted one cruiser. In seconds, the enemy returned fire, shaking the ship. Shields holding. Orion said, minimal damage. Clara controlled a drone squad, sending them behind enemy lines. Go, 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 she whispered. Guiding them into position, Aiden worked the railguns, launching silent metal bolts at high speed. One enemy ship split in half, but the Black Tempest was different. Its armor was thick, its weapons were old but powerful. It aimed at the solar valve and fired a wide plasma wave. "Brace!" Natalie shouted. The ship rocked, lights flickered, but it stayed alive. "Hit them back," she ordered. They fired everything. Beams, missiles, gravity torpedoes. The enemy fleet lost more ships. Suddenly, Clara's drones reached the back of the Black Tempest. They dropped ghostlight pods on the engines. "It's working," Clara said. "Their movement is off." Aiden fired again. The blast hit near the engine. "Explosion detected," Orion said. "Power levels dropping inside the Black Tempest." Vrex screamed. His ship was failing. His rage meant nothing now. He tried to escape, but it was too late. Natalie gave the last command. "End it." The solar valve charged its final weapon. A pulse of blue energy hit the Black Tempest. The enemy ship broke apart, fire spreading through its body. One last scream echoed through space, and then silence. Earth had won again. After the Black Tempest was destroyed, Earth became something new. Not just a planet, not just a home, but a symbol. A voice for every world that had once stayed silent under the Council's shadow. The galaxy was watching. Some cheered, some feared. But all listened. On Earth, people celebrated, but the leaders stayed focused. They knew the war was not finished. In the Council's main chamber, the silence was heavy. Seats once filled with pride now felt cold. Commander Vrex was gone. His fleet was broken. His hate had led to nothing but defeat. The leaders argued, but this time the voices were lower. "We cannot beat them in battle," one whispered. "We cannot break their will," another added. Ambassador Lyral stood again. She looked tired but calm. "It is not just about Earth," she said. "It is about what they inspire. Other planets are now speaking up. Small voices, yes, but soon they will grow. Then what do we do?" Someone asked. "We talk," Lyral said. "We listen, we change." Not everyone agreed, but the seeds of fear had grown into something deeper: doubt. Back on the solar valve, repairs had begun. The ship had survived a deadly fight. Now it floated above a peaceful Earth, lights glowing gently across its surface. Natalie sat in her chair on the bridge, reading reports. Her crew was resting, but she stayed awake. "Anything from the Council?" she asked Orion. "Broadcasts have stopped," the eye replied. "No threats, no movements." She leaned back. "That's almost scarier." In the training base on Mars, Aiden and Clara spoke to new cadets. They were younger, nervous, but curious. "You don't have to be the strongest," Aiden told them. "You just have to protect the person next to you," Clara added. "And never forget why we fight. Not for revenge, but for peace." Meanwhile, Dr. Ellie Grant met with leaders in a secret lab. She was building something new, not a weapon, but a signal, a beacon to reach other worlds. "If we show them Earth's truth, they might join us," she explained. A hologram showed alien faces, worlds once hidden behind fear. Now they might be ready. Ellie called it the Light Reach Project. On a far planet named Tharos, deep in the edge of Council space, the first response came, a single message: "We see you, Earth, and we believe." The signal reached Earth at night. It came through static and old frequencies, but the words were clear. Natalie received the message in her command room. She smiled. "Orion, send them a welcome." "Yes, Commander," the AI replied. Soon more signals came, not all friendly. Some were warnings, some were threats, but some offered peace. Cole met with President Benton in the command center. "We need to be ready," he said. "If the Council breaks, there will be chaos. Some will want war, others will want help. Then we help who we can," Benton replied. "And defend when we must." Natalie was chosen to lead a peace mission. The solar valve would travel to neutral zones, meet with new allies, and protect those who wanted freedom. Before she left, she stood before a crowd on Earth. Soldiers, families, and children listened. "We never asked for this war," she said, "but we answered it. And now, we must build something better. For Earth, for everyone." Clara and Aiden joined her on the mission. They were no longer cadets. They were now leaders in their own right. As the solar valve launched, Stars filled the window once again. But this time, the crew was not heading into battle. They were heading into hope. Behind them, Earth stood ready, strong, united, and watching. Ahead of them, the galaxy waited, and for the first time it was listening. The solar vow moved through space like a quiet guardian. Its mission was not war this time, but peace. Natalie stood on the bridge, looking at a map of nearby systems. Dots showed new allies, possible friends, and places where help was needed. Aiden and Clara stood beside her. They had grown in confidence, now trusted by the whole crew. We're close to the Zayaran colony. Aiden said, they asked for protection. The council sent a threat last week. Then we go there first, Natalie said. We don't leave anyone unprotected. The ship turned and entered the Zayaran system. A small planet came into view, surrounded by old defense satellites. Some were broken, some still worked. The people on Zayaran were scared. They had been ruled by the council for years. Now they wanted freedom, but they didn't have the power to fight. When the solar vow arrived, the people watched from the ground. The ship did not fire. It only sent a message. We are here to protect, not conquer, Natalie said in the broadcast. Earth does not rule. We stand beside you. The people of Zayaran cheered, for the first time in a long time. They felt safe, but danger still followed. The council had spies. One of them sent a signal the moment the solar vow entered the system. Far away, a council warship named the Razor Wind picked up the signal. Its captain, Sarnak, believed in fear. He had no patience for peace. Set course for Zayaran, he ordered. We will crush their hope before it spreads. The Razor Wind moved fast. Its engines were loud. Its weapons ready. Back on the solar vow, Orion picked up the threat. Enemy ship approaching. The II said, large, aggressive, time to arrival. 2 hours. Natalie didn't panic. She called her officers. We hold position, she said. We don't run from bullies. Clara checked the defense grid. Zayaran's systems are weak. They won't survive a direct hit. Then we become their shield. Natalie said. They began preparing. The solar vow's weapons came online. Drones launched and formed a net around the planet. Fighters stood ready. Aiden led one squad. Clara led another. 2 hours later, the Razor Wind entered the system. This is your last warning, Sarnak shouted over open comms. Leave this place or be destroyed. Natalie stood tall. This is your last mistake, she replied. We're not leaving. The battle started. The Razor Wind fired first, sending shockwaves across the space around Zayaran. The solar vow returned fire. Blue energy beams lit up the darkness. Clara's squad of fighters hit the enemy from the sides. Aiden's drones confused their targeting systems. Sarnak didn't expect this much resistance. He growled in frustration. Destroy the lead ship, he screamed. Break them. He targeted the solar vow's engines. One hit landed. Sparks flew across the engineering bay. But the ship stayed alive. Engine damage, Orion said. But still functional. Keep going, Natalie ordered. We don't stop now. She activated the new defense system, Nova Pulse. A sudden burst of energy pushed back enemy ships. The Razor Wind's shields flickered. We've got them. Aiden shouted through comms. Their engines are slowing. Clara's squad dove in close and dropped stun charges. The Razor Wind shook under the impact on the bridge. Sarnak realized his mistake. Retreat, he said. But it was too late. Natalie gave the final order. End this. A full strike from the solar vow hit the enemy ship. Explosions followed. The Razor Wind was torn apart in silence. The battle was over. Zayaran was safe after the fight. Natalie spoke to the people again. Hope is not weak, she said. Hope is a shield, and Earth will share it with those who ask. The message spread. Through the stars, more systems called for help. More people spoke out. The galaxy was changing, and Earth was leading the way. The galaxy had changed. The fall of the Razor Wind was the final sign. The council was no longer feared. Earth had done the impossible. It had stood alone, fought back, and won, and now it was no longer alone. Across the stars, new alliances formed. Small worlds, once silent, now raised their voices. Colonies that had suffered under council rule asked Earth for guidance, not as rulers, but as equals. Inside the council's great chamber, the silence was different now, not from pride, but from defeat. No one laughed, no one shouted. Many seats were empty. Some members had already left. Others avoided showing their faces. Ambassador Lyral stood again. Her voice was soft but firm. "We can no longer lead with fear," she said. "Earth has shown another way. They protect without chains. They fight only when they must, and they win, not with power, but with purpose." Some members nodded. Others lowered their heads. "It is time to change," Lyral continued, "or be forgotten." Back on Earth, people watched the stars with hope. The victory of Zayuran was not just a battle won, it was the start of a new era in the skies above. The solar vow returned. Its hull was marked with battle scars, but its light still shined bright. The crew was welcomed as heroes. Natalie stepped off the ship and looked around. Families waved, soldiers saluted, children held flags and drawings. She smiled for the first time in days. Aiden and Clara followed her, their uniforms clean, their eyes full of pride. "We did it," Clara said quietly. "No," Natalie replied. "We started it." Inside Earth's main council hall, President Benton met with leaders from new allied planets. They came in peace, curious and open. "We want to build something better," one said. "Not just ships and weapons, but trust." "Then we start today," Benton replied. Together, Dr. Ellie Grant watched the talks from the screen in her lab. She felt tired but proud. The Lightreach project had done more than send signals. It had lit a path. She turned to Ben and said, "We gave them more than hope. We gave them a reason to believe." In the training base, new recruits arrived from other worlds. Human trainers shook hands with alien cadets. The halls were filled with many voices, many languages, all learning the same lessons. "Protect the weak," Aiden told a group. "Fight only when you must, and never forget who you are," Clara showed others how to fly Earthships, how to handle space battles, but also how to land safely and help after the fight was over. The message of Earth was clear: freedom, unity, respect in deep space. The solar vow now served a new role. It was a peacekeeper ship, helping settle conflicts between rising nations. Natalie remained its commander, her name known across the stars. She stood at the bridge one night, looking out into the dark, thinking of the journey. "We were just trying to survive," she said to Orion. "And now you lead," the AI replied. "I don't want to lead," she said. "I just want no one else to feel what we did." "That is why they follow you," Orion said. News from the council came soon after. A new vote had passed. Lyral had been made the new voice of the council, the first leader to speak not of control, but of peace. Her first message was sent to Earth. "We are ready to listen," it said. "We ask not for forgiveness, but for a chance to be better." Natalie read the message and sent one line back: "Let's build it together." And so, the war that had started with fear ended with understanding. Earth, once seen as a threat, became a guide. A new alliance was born, not from conquest but from courage, and as ships traveled between stars, carrying supplies, dreams, and stories, one truth remained: they dared to attack Earth, but Earth dared to rise.